Welcome, Blind Eye friends. Thank you for being here. Today, I just wanted to go over a message that we received a long time ago. And I apologize. In the beginning of like Blind Eye Movement and Let Us Pray, there were so many messages that came in all at once. So if you haven't heard from us and you want us to follow up with you, please feel free to message us again because there were hundreds. And, we try to answer as quickly as possible, but I'm sure a lot of you probably felt like, we just had a quick generic message and didn't really get back to you. And I apologize for that. I also want you all to remember like, yes, we were a part of a documentary, but we are not lawyers. We're not investigators. We are not the police. Um, as much as we want to help, we can only do so much behind the scenes. And we want to keep promoting all victims to go forward, to get justice, to at least file police reports, at least, let your family know, let a counselor know that you've been through something. And then, we also want to name the churches that have abuse in them. We want to name the pastors that have been abusers. The tricky part for us is that we have to be careful legally if someone hasn't been charged for a crime. We have to be careful the way we word things. So when we throw out allegedly a lot, it's not because we don't believe the victims. We do definitely believe the victims, and we know that sexual abuse is just running rampant right now. I guess the perpetrators are running rampant, but we have to be careful legally so that we don't get sued because we said somebody was a pedophile when like they haven't been charged for the crime, basically. Um, so I just want, to remind everyone of those things and that we behind Blind Eye are also victims of sexual assault or sexual abuse, and many other kinds of abuse, within the church circles and the IFB circles. So, all that to say, I got a newer message, but I was looking back at the previous messages from the same individual. They wanted to be anonymous, so I'm not going to mention a name. If you want to claim your fame and say, you got it or we got the message from you, feel free to comment and say that it was you, but I'm not going to call out anybody that messages us unless we have like their, 100% permission. But that is also what I was saying with we have to be really careful about what we post and what we say. I really encourage all victims to tell your own story. Like put it in your own words, put it in your own video, put it in your own comment, because we don't want to tell other people's stories for them. I know we were in a documentary and I know, it looks like we were telling a bunch of people's stories, but that was sort of a separate thing. Like there's two things happening. There was the documentary with producers and they had their own editing, their own investigation that they did. And then Blind Eye Movement is, a group of us victims wanting to call out perpetrators, wanting to call out our pastors that, we're doing bad things and bringing light to that. And we want to bring about change. So I just want to clarify because some messages, kind of assume that we are like the producers or investigators, and that is sort of separate. So I don't want to let anyone down, but I also don't want to give false hope. If we can't just run to that church and investigate them, or, we only have so many resources behind the scenes, which is like we're mostly regular people and victims ourselves. So we want to help you find resources or point you in the right direction for sure. But anywho, I am rabbit trailing a lot, but there's just a lot going on in my head when I read this old message. This is from a while ago. So, this person was letting us know that there was a victim and their perpetrator got the charges for the sexual part dropped because they had some sort of deal. And I just thought, like, oh my gosh, why was that even an option? Like, I'm going to click on it real quick. I'll just read you this little blip. It says 5 Chicago. Looks like, just like a news website. It says sex charges dropped against former pastor. This was published way back in April 22, 2009. So this is quite a while ago. And it was updated the same day at 11:45 a.m. Okay. Says charges that a former East Chicago pastor had sex multiple times with a 14-year-old girl were dropped Wednesday in a deal with prosecutors. that had the man pled guilty to stalking. Okay, so a prosecutor allowed, like, I'm pretty sure if you're a prosecutor, you get to say deal or no deal. You can say, no, we want to charge you with the full crime and we're not offering a deal, because I'm pretty sure they would have to offer it. Or maybe lawyers in the background can negotiate and ask for a deal. But I just feel like, why on earth would this prosecutor offer that just to get a guilty plea? Like, how is that worth it? And did the girl get consulted at all? Because I know once, the state or town or whatever takes on a case, it's kind of like the victims themselves aren't the one prosecuting, right? They're not the ones, I guess, charging the person. So then that's up to the state. And it's like, are they considering the victim's feelings at all? And I wish, I could hear from this girl and see, how is she doing now? Because this was a long time ago. Um, but I mean, she was 14. And in what world should you offer a guy a plea deal, especially a pastor? Like, what? Was that prosecutor part of the church? Like, I'm thinking, like, were they friends? Like, is he trying to do a favor? I don't even, I'm just like, ugh, it's just gross. So let's reread that. So, pastor had sex multiple times, not even just once, like full blown sex, they're calling it. We have other words for it. With a 14-year-old girl, were dropped Wednesday in a deal with prosecutors that had the man plead guilty to stalking. So, yeah, you got your guilty plea, but to stalking? Okay. It says the Rev Chester Mulligan, 44, pleaded guilty to felony stalking in return for Lake County prosecutors dropping 2 counts of felony sexual misconduct that were pending against him. Lake Criminal Court records state details of this plea agreement were not immediately available. Shocking. Mulligan was sentenced Wednesday to a year of probation. That part I had not really read before this video started. So a year of probation for sex crimes. I feel like that's an injustice. I mean, I'm happy for the girl that it went to court. I'm happy that maybe her story got to be discovered or told, or I don't know. It feels gross. So, anyways, I am just reading this because it's public record. It's just on this news website, 5 Chicago. But the sad part is, like, I was trying to look into it a little bit more, like, okay, what really happened? Well, it ends there. Let me see if this link takes me anywhere about it. But when I tried to read more into it, oh yeah, these pop up. So it's like 99 cents for a month or $5.99 for 1 month. And like each of the articles that I tried to look more into this, you had to pay. Like there's a paywall or whatever, and you just like have to pay to read any more about this. So then that led me to the thought of, we need to do more for the general population and for future victims, like that we want to prevent victims from happening, of course, or people becoming victims. I feel like we shouldn't have to pay for just regular news about who's getting raped and who's not. And like, well, they wouldn't say who's not probably, but if it's not true, fine. But I feel like that should be free. Obviously, I know if you dig into someone, some of it can be free, but even then, you might have to request a FOIA file, and sometimes you do have to pay for it. It's not always free. Like, I have been able to request those things in my personal life about other people, and, sometimes it's been free, but it does say, like, if it's over a certain amount, you might get charged, and, like, are you willing to pay? You have to, like, say that when you're requesting something. So, yeah, I just think it's unfortunate. Like, I know people, like, reporters and news people, like, have to make money somehow. They got to get paid. But it just seems sad, like, especially about this stuff. Like, you think it should be free to, like, know that stuff and to, I don't know, that was just bothering me. That, like, the more I try to look into this, it's like, okay, it's all, like, you got to pay for the article. And I personally don't want to do that, but yeah. Okay, so let me pause real quick. Okay, I found another article that was free. It's short, and then I'll probably end this video because I need to make another one. So this one is from Poynter.org. It's spelled Poynter.org. Okay, this says former East Chicago pastor faces sex charges by Kathy Shaw. This one is December 31st, 2003. So it took like 6 years for them to get the plea. Like, what? This seems crazy. December 30th, 2003. Crown Point, Indiana. Shocking that it's Indiana. I don't know how close that is to like Hiles Anderson or if that's the same place. I don't remember at the top of my head. But just a little tidbit to, this does not say like if it's Baptist or not or IFB, but the whole reason I'm finding out about this story was from a message to us personally, the Blind Eye Movement page. And this individual said that this girl was a member of his home church, but that person that did the message or sent the message was affiliated with Hiles Anderson. So I'm just saying all roads seem to lead to Hiles Anderson for us. Like I'm sure there's like some other hubs in the US or in other countries that are major IFB churches that probably do very similar, things or behaviors and similar cover-ups, but it just seems like way too much of a coincidence. Like why do all roads lead there? Why is everyone's like background like, oh yeah, we supported Hiles Anderson. Yeah, we sent all our college students to Hiles Anderson as much as we could. And like they were, so important. And it's almost disgusting how much we put them on a pedestal and how much we worship those pastors that came from there. And what the heck were they teaching there to make it seem like it's okay to start churches and to have a bunch of abuse and then cover it up and then just ship pastors here, there, and everywhere to avoid getting in trouble by the law? Somebody please tell me. Somebody that went to Hiles Anderson and the college and the church, like people, I want to hear from you in the comments. Who has attended, excuse me, Fly, sorry. Fly just busted in the screen. Um, who has actually attended that place? And hello. Were there teachings about like abuse? Was it like, hey, this is how to get away with things? Is it is it just a coincidence that all these pedophiles just happen to be in these circles? Or are they teaching things that make it easy to be a pedophile? Like, I don't get it. I really want to know, though. Someone that's honest, someone that's been through the whole system and could give us real, genuine feedback without like lying or manipulating in any way. So, okay, back to the article. Okay, so this says Crown Point, Indiana, Indianapolis Star, Associated Press, and then the pointer.org. So, December 30th, 2003, Crown Point, Indiana, the former pastor of an East Chicago church faces 2 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor for allegedly having sex with a teenage girl. Authorities allege that Chester Mulligan, 58 now, of Fort Sill, Oklahoma, first had sexual intercourse with the girl, then 14, in July 1997. They say the abuse continued until June 2001. The woman, now 20, told police Mulligan gave her money and gifts, and when she tried to stop having sexual relations with him, he would give her more money, according to a probable cause affidavit. Mulligan, who is in custody in Comanche County, Oklahoma, awaiting extradition to Indiana. Okay, so then he must have moved after the fact. Resigned from the Central Baptist Church. Oh, it is Baptist. Central Baptist Church in December 2001. Okay, which lends like credence to her saying that it ended in 2001, I believe is what it said. Yeah, continued until June of 2001, and then he resigned from the Central Baptist Church in December 2001. A secretary at the church told the Times of Munster for a story today. Okay, and then it gives a bunch of var server, and then I don't know what that list means. It looks like a different language or some kind of computer language or something. So that's it for that one. And there probably is more out there if I dig into it, but for now, I'm going to end it there. And because I want to make another video, and that one will be about like calling out pastors, but I want to make it specifically for that so we can all comment underneath and just have like a nice list, just like we are doing with what churches have had abuse or alleged abuse, and then what, the pastors' names are. But I want to have a specific list for other people. So I'm going to do that real quick. Everyone stay safe out there. If you've been sexually abused or any kind of abuse, please report it. Please make a police report so that it can be on record, especially if that person ever does something again. It's just very helpful to have records. And sometimes, the statute of limitations is up for a victim, and then it seems pointless. It seems like, well, why would I tell anybody? It's too late for me to get justice, but it might not be too late for someone else. And it seems like, well, that's selfish. Like you're just gonna, tell on your perpetrator and cause all this stress for somebody else. Like what? But it really can be healing either way. And you never know. Like laws could change and things could change. I don't know. It's just it's helpful. It's helpful for a lot of people, I guess, if you come forward. Obviously, don't do anything that you don't want to do. You want it to be your decision so that you don't feel full of regret or, make yourself suffer any more than you've already suffered. But we just wish we could, I don't know, give everybody justice that they deserve. So, okay, guys, that is it for now. I will talk to you all later.